Hi there, everyone. I thought I'd do a little bit different video this time. This is going to be the longest one I've ever done on this subject, but I went down to Palm Springs accidentally 24 hours early for an appointment. So I spent the time getting a surprise for my wife, and I stopped by In-N-Out Burger. And I was going to scan the whole burger, but I didn't bring the mobile kit with me, so I couldn't do that in the car. It would have been a perfect day because it was rainy and kind of overcast. It would have been a nice day to do a scan in the outside, but I forgot to bring it. So you can see I got this bite left. I ate everything I could, and that's what was left there when I got home. So I thought I would take the opportunity to clean that thing up in Revo Studio. I hadn't really had a chance to play with it much, so I thought I'd pull it out and horse around with this burger file. So bear with me. I'm going to just do it real time. I might drop out on the commenting. It's 1 o'clock here. Kind of late. But I selected the file there. Excuse me. Now, one thing I'm curious about is why the texturing is so different here in Revo Studio from what it was in Revo Scan. You see, it had that nice finished look in Revo Scan. I'm sure I'll find out later. I'm just thinking my skills aren't good enough yet to address that issue, and I'm looking forward to the day when I can apply my own texturing. Create it myself. But this is what I have now, so I thought I'd play around with the Revo Studio and see if I can help learn something myself. I've only spent about 10 minutes with the Revo Studio so far, so this is going to be probably the longest session I've had with it too. I didn't get a chance to beta test it before it was released. I was not aware. I was doing something else and totally slipped by me, so I didn't get a pre-release issue so that I could learn to use it myself. But I think it's pretty intuitive. I mean, they've done a pretty good job choosing the icons. They're pretty descriptive in their nature. They look pretty obvious to me. Now I was going to clip that stuff off there. See, we're using the rectangle select. You can see them up there lined up along top of the model there. I didn't get real fancy because I don't really know my way around it yet. I use mostly the defaults that are already in there. And like I say, I'd be curious as to how to handle. There may be someone out there that knows. Probably the Revopoint POP users group has a lot of talented individuals. I noticed it's acquired quite a few hundred members in the last week or so. A lot of interest. People are getting their POPs and their POP2s. Now that, I'll just clip off that little bit there. See, it turns red, and I'll go over and delete it. You have the option to clean it if you want to. I want to try that too. And I might come back and play with this some more with the. I like doing the same operation in different ways with the same model. I don't like changing too many variables at once. That's what I tell you. Don't try to get one variable in control at a time. I mean, take them individually. Change too many variables at once, and you don't know where the heck you are. When I troubleshoot televisions, or, well, basically anything, I try to get control of the conditions first. I try to get control of a repeatable setup so that if I do manipulate anything or think I may have a repair, I have a way to test it out. I don't like calling anything repaired unless I have a way to test the repair. And kind of what I'm doing here is I'm in a way I'm troubleshooting. I mean, I'm stumbling along through here, figuring out what to do and what looks best. And Like I say, multiple iterations are the best way to learn something. Kind of like a muscle memory that you build, I guess. Maybe brain muscle memory. I don't know. I still think it looks pretty good. But as I said, I'm sure there are experts out there who can shed light, if you will, on why those dark areas. You see the dark areas along the thing, along the edge of the container there, and along the ketchup packet that weren't there in the textured version in Handy Scan. I mean, here I am back in the old software in Revo Scan. I'm mesmerized by what's happening on the screen. That's why I got distracted there. Since I spent over 50 years looking at television pictures and evaluating the color quality and the way it was rendered for the customer and getting it the best I could get it, I just am still thoroughly fascinated by video and even still pictures on the computer screen. I started out with a surplus IBM computer built in 1955. That was my sole computer class was in 1966 with an IBM 1620. Let's see, the black areas in there weren't in the finished scan from RevoScan. And honestly, I used to get that a lot with the earlier software. I couldn't understand it. I still don't understand it. I just keep thinking it has to be lighting. I'm waiting. And another scanning. Well, I think he's a professional. He's on another group. He's not in this group. But he said he uses another software for manipulating the cloud, fusing, and meshing. I need to check that out. Here we looked for overlap detection, which my scans have a lot of overlaps because I do a lot of frames, but this is kind of handy here, for reducing the unneeded face count, the unneeded faces and unneeded vertices, the duplicated stuff that just encumbers everything. Now, to check out the meshing, and this is the first time I tried this, being able to fill in the bottom, flatten out that bottom. I was curious as to whether it would work the way I was going to use it. And what I did was I selected the, well, I'm spoiling the surprise. Got ahead of myself. Let's wait and see what it does after it meshes. There were some people that felt that their computer got locked up and went off into La La Land and probably terminated the processing. One thing I realized early on is it all depends on your CPU speed, your GPU speed, your GPU RAM, and your RAM. Your memory. So all those factors affect the processing time. And I have a pretty powerful workstation that I use. It's pretty fresh and pretty new. It's a 4K display, so it has a pretty hefty GPU. It's an HP workstation. It's intended for CAD and 3D modeling. And it takes a while. I can hear the fan kick in, and maybe I'm just making too many frames. I don't know. When I get better, I'll find out. And speaking of better, of course, my final goal would be to get good enough at CAD that I can do whatever I want to do with the file once I've Once I've gotten the scan together, I can manipulate it however I want. As I said before, I'd like to be able to create my own texturing and apply it. There we go. That looks better. Now, basically, I just went through each button one at a time and used defaults. And since it has an undo, you know, the first thing I ever look for is the undo and redo buttons, and they've provided both. So you're pretty safe to try things. You can roll it back. Now, see that open bottom? This is what I was talking about. I want to get a flat bottom. I mean, I'm not going to print it, but suppose I did want to print it. You know, it'd have to be watertight. That's part of it. You see the little, I don't know if that's a blurb, that little red, that little dot below the second from the left palm tree. I don't know if that's a registered trademark symbol or if it's just a little blurb in the scan. But see, I selected the fill hole, and the fill type is flat, and to see if it would fill in the bottom there. And bam, it did. See, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. It even picked up the little ketchup stains on the container. I like the crumpled paper, the colors. As I said, I wish that black discoloration wasn't there. I wish it looked better. Wish it looked closer to what I had in the Revo Studio. Anyway, it looks pretty good. I saved it away so I can tinker with it some more. But I hope that helps you out with the Revo Studio. Like I said, the big thing is just get in there and do it. Don't be afraid of it. Just play with it. Find the undo and redo buttons first on everything, any software. All right, you guys. Hope it helps. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Good scans, everyone. Enjoy the pops. They're just so cool.